I'm going to talk about flying. Yes, for most of us, getting to the cruise port means flying. And for some of us, flying is a necessity when we want to visit our friends, when we want to go even on land vacation. So yes, let's start from the beginning, and that means getting on the plane. And there's going to be the new normal. After COVID-19, things are certainly going to change. Some of them are already implemented, and some of them I think are going to need to change in order for us to be confident to get on that plane. Hi everyone, Isabella here. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you, and if you haven't, you know what to do. In this video, I am going to be talking about air travel. Why air travel, you say? It's because for most of us, it's the only way to get to the cruise port, and it is going to look different. So I'm going to list 6 different ways air travel is going to be different post-COVID-19. So as things are slowly starting to open up, and for instance, Air Canada Vacations has actually said that they're going to resume their flights from Toronto to Montego Bay and to Cancun, I thought to myself, this is wonderful. I can actually stop looking at my fish over there, and I can maybe see real fish in the ocean and perhaps go scuba diving again. But then, the thought of flying and being on the plane that is really not made for social distancing and getting to the airport and walking through the airport and going through all these procedures, I found it a little bit concerning and anxiety inducing. I don't convince you and me and everyone to get on board. So one thing, besides actually reducing their plane load and saying to us that they're going to keep the social distancing or spacing people out on the plane, and perhaps, yay, blocking the dreaded middle seat, because really those are such horrible seats, nobody really needs them. So they're blocking most of it, like WestJet is already posted on their website that they will be blocking seats. Same as it was before, 24 hours prior to your departure, you go online, under your reservation number or your locator, you put in your passport information, how many bags you're taking with you, and maybe assign your seat. If you haven't done so prior, you haven't purchased your seat, you could probably just pick your seat at that point. Then on top of that, you're going to probably have to make a declaration of health, scan your, let's say, health passport, and perhaps have to purchase wellness insurance. So if you are denied boarding or you're denied entry to a country at any point, you're going to be covered by your insurance for the expenses that you might incur by not being able to proceed further on your travels. So yes, the wellness insurance and the health declaration is going to be most likely an additional step to your online check-in. And now also, instead of having a paper boarding pass, I think that the airlines are going to strongly encourage people to make sure that they travel with their devices, either phone or your laptop or your iPod, so you can actually scan your boarding pass. So they're going to try to use technology more and more, so you don't have to carry or pass paper between people. So yes, that's one thing. Now at the airport curbside, you're going to be scanned again for your temperature, mostly as you enter, either that or you're going to be fogged. Anyone who is not traveling is not going to be allowed into the terminal, so you have to make sure you no longer can say your goodbyes and huggies and please text me when you get there and so forth. No, that the whole procedures has to be scrapped, because no one can get out at the airport who is actually not traveling. You're not allowed to be at the airport hanging around there or dropping somebody off unless you're flying. So once you enter the terminal building, and after you check which gate you're going to be boarding from, and you will be asked to scan your boarding pass and drop off your luggage because I think there's going to be less people and more machines from now on, and somebody there just to help you to make sure that you know how to operate that check-in machine to get your boarding pass. Most of us probably will opt for the electronic boarding pass with the scan bar, so then this way all your information is going to be stored over, just scan it. So I think we're going to be using more technology at the airport and less people in the future, and it's going to be completely different type of procedure from getting you from the curbside all the way to the gate. So yes, the disinfecting of the luggage is going to happen, whether it is by fogging or by ultraviolet light. We don't know how this is going to proceed from now on, but that's something that is definitely going to happen. And the electronic boarding passes, yes, that's going to be much more encouraged, because they're trying to avoid passing any paper or anything like that between people, just so they don't have the contamination. So yes, electronics everywhere, machine and conveyor belts everywhere. Including at the gate. At the gate, you know, most likely you're going to be getting your food from a vending machine. But Japan has a lot of them, and they seem to like them very much. So when it comes to dropping off your luggage at the airport, it's not going to change drastically. There might be an additional step, which is a sanitation of your luggage. So it either is going to go through the automated system where it's going to get fogged or disinfected, or it's going to be done manually by the check-in counter personnel, and then you're going to get a tag on your luggage stating that your luggage has been sanitized. So that is something that probably will be implemented. Doing this far as, you know, taking your laptop and electronics, and of course taking your jacket off and perhaps your shoes, and having that all x-rayed through the machine, and making sure you don't have liquids that are into that. I think that they're going to be also disinfecting all your luggage, either through the UVC ultraviolet light or some kind of fogging or disinfecting, and that way they're also are going to be not only x-raying your person as you pass through security as they did before, but now there's going to be an additional machine where you have to walk in and get disinfected or fogged until you proceed to the gate. So yes, there's going to be a couple more steps, and there's going to be another probably governing authority at the airport, health authority, that is going to make sure that you have your health passport or declaration with you, as well as you wear your mask during the entire time. So there's going to be cameras everywhere making sure that people don't take off their masks at that point, and they continue to the gate. We get it done that way. Now at the gate too, you're going to be asked to stay seated where their seats already blocked off. And after that, you're going to be either asked by an announcement or a text message when it's time for you to board. So those big, huge lineups that we had by zone are going to be a thing from the past. No longer can you hover over the first front rows to anxiously wait until your zone is called. That is not going to happen anymore. You're going to get a text message, or you're going to get an announcement when it's time for you to start boarding. And once you proceed to the boarding area, you're not going to be just checking your passport with your face, but you're probably going to have a machine with face recognition that is going to also tell them your temperature and your heart rate, and how, you know, check your overall health to make sure that they're looking for any signs of COVID. And also some airlines already, like Emirates, have implemented the rapid COVID test. So you might be subjected to that too before you actually are allowed to board the plane. Now, planes itself is going to be disinfected either by the Falcon or the ultraviolet UVC light, and sometimes fogged, and of course overnight they're going to deep clean, which means there's going to be personnel that is going to be manually disinfecting all the high touch points on the plane. And so that plane is going to be all cleaned up, and you passing through that jet bridge, instead of standing there in a crowd that we used to do to proceed and in a lineup to proceed inside of the aircraft, you're going to be fogged again or disinfected again, and you're going to be asked to keep the distance of 2 meters between people. So that procedure might take a little bit longer to board, but I think if they are boarding them by a system where you're just boarding individuals, it might be actually a much faster way of boarding. That just remains to be seen how this works, because everybody has to be compliant in order for that to work well. Now, once you sit down on board, you're not going to have any kind of magazines. You're not going to have anything in that front seat pocket at all. Everything is going to be done through the app on your own device, or it's going to be mounted on the seat the screen, including the information about safety, including the information about health safety, because that is going to be also projected there, not only just airplane safety, but now the health and procedures that are going to happen on board. Your flight attendant might look different, because they might be wearing either full protection, personal protection, or they're going to be at least wearing a mask and gloves. And the service on board is also going to be dramatically reduced. So forget duty free. You're not, if you forgot that present, you're not going to be able to buy it from duty free anymore. That's gone. And also, if you like to have your glass of wine or your drink on board of a plane to start your holiday, not gonna happen either, most likely, unless it's prepackaged in some way. There's not going to be a pouring of any drinks happening on board and distributing that way. They might even just give everybody a bottle of water once you board, and maybe they will give you a lunch box or a bento box, and not serve you at your seat. I think also what they are going to do, or Air Canada is doing, is give you a personal hygiene kit that you're going to be given to your seat, or be on your seat, which you're going to have your own personal wipes and things like that to use in case you use the bathroom, in case you're you want to disinfect a little bit more your armrests or your buckle or seat buckle. So there's going to be that, and in the end, you're going to have staff, also special staff on board, that is going to be taking care of the hygiene in the bathroom, cleaning, disinfecting every half an hour to make sure that there's people not touching the same thing, the handle and so forth. So yes, there's not going to be a line up to the bathroom either. You're going to be asked to either buzz, or maybe one by one. You're not going to be able to line up, and I think that there's going to be strictly regulated by staff on board. And once you land, the same procedures will apply. The aircraft fogging and going again through checks at customs. Your customs officers will be wearing masks and gloves. Most likely your luggage is going to get disinfected again. You most likely will be asked to show proof of being COVID free, either by declaration or by a rapid test, or another show of your health passport. So there's going to be other procedures in addition to the procedures that we have. So yes, your time at the airport might be additionally extended by an hour or more, but depending on how compliant people are to these new procedures. But there's going to be adjusting to the face masks. I think it's going to be an adjustment of people looking a little bit different and having all these questions about your health and well-being being asked. And I think from now on, everybody should have medical or wellness insurance that is going to have coverage in case you can't enter that country, or in case you can't board that plane, that you're going to have that. So yes, there's going to be changes, but not all changes are bad. If you like things to be clean, then you're going to be okay with it. If you don't like crowds, then you're going to be okay with it. If you like things to be organized, then these procedures might actually work to get things going smoothly. So not all changes are going to be bad. They're just going to have to be something that we get used to. And once we do, then perhaps it's not going to be impediment for us to travel in the future. What do you think? Leave me comments below. Sign for the next episode by pressing that subscribe button and that bell, and I will talk to you next week.